morning, good afternoon, good evening. There are a few instances when Zanu PF leaders have been cornered and asked to be democratically accountable. Here is one classical example when that happened. And in this case, it was the Zanu PF spokesperson, Mutsvangwa. And instead of being accountable, he stormed out. Let's just listen to it.
No one owns this country. We are part of this country, and we can't watch people destroy it right in our eyes. And I don't know what it is that gets into people like yourself or Honorable Nguni to speak in the manner that you do. You sit there and you literally want this country to be torn to pieces. How is it that a people that has been born in a country would want to reduce yourself to this level? Or because you want a chaos so that you can loot, you can abuse, you can kill. And I think this can't be allowed.
Can I answer that? All we did in Zanu PF is to give you the country which has made you be ministers. Yes, this country was stolen. This country was stolen. We gave it back. No. No, I'm the one on the floor. I want to speak. Yes, I agree with you. We were not in Zanu, but I talk about my experience. Okay. So let me talk. You are derogatory to people who made you what you are today. That's why Saturday doesn't.
No, Chris. No, Chris. No, continue.
All of you, some of you are my generation here, cowards. Come on.
No. Oh shit.
This has become the classical situation in Zimbabwe. Our politicians are not accountable to the people, democratically accountable to the people, particularly Zanu PF. What is interesting here is the people of Zimbabwe realized that Zanu PF was a party of thugs who were rigging elections so that they are not democratically accountable to the people. They stifled debate. The media in Zimbabwe has always been a Zanu PF monopoly. The public media is all but in name Zanu PF. And the private media has been intimidated to the point where they dare not hold the regime to account. But we can dwell on Zanu PF. For 45 years, we've got to accept that we had the opportunity to end this Zanu PF dictatorship. And what I want to dwell on is why have we failed to end this Zanu PF dictatorship in 45 years of independence? And the main reason for it is, of course, that we've got an opposition that has learned from Zanu PF, who do not want to be held to account. When Morgan Tsvangirai and his friends launched the MDC in 1999. They were answering to a national call for democratic change in the country. And they even named their own party the Movement for Democratic Change, MDC. It's now 25 years down the line, including the 5 years in the 2008 to 2013 GNU. The question that must be asked is why have they failed to implement even one democratic change in 25 years, including the 5 years in the GNU? You try to hold the opposition to account for that. And they will treat you the same way Mutsvangwa was treating the people here. They'll call you cowards. They'll call you CIOs or worse. The opposition have learned from Zanu PF, and they firmly believe, like Zanu PF, that they are not democratically accountable to the people. This is at the heart of our problem. We have risked livelihoods, limbs, and lives to elect MDC, CCC leaders into power, on the understanding that once in power, they will implement the democratic change designed to dismantle this Zanu PF dictatorship. As we know, Zanu PF blatantly rigged the 2023 elections. Proof that no meaningful democratic reforms have been implemented. And yet, the MDC leaders and their supporters do not want to be held to account for that. I think we owe it to ourselves to hold them to account. These MDC leaders have been participating in these flawed elections, knowing fully well that the process is flawed. Knowing fully well that the process is illegal and that the logical thing to do is to withdraw. And yet, they've continued to participate out of greed. Ever since the 2008 to 2013 GNU debacle, MDC leaders have participated in flawed elections out of greed, knowing fully well that by participating, they give legitimacy to Zanu PF. I've often quoted the quotation that is on your screen there, because this is one of the MDC leaders himself admitting that they've been participating in these flawed elections out of greed. The people themselves have been slow to realize that. In 2018, Chamisa conned the nation to participate in those flawed elections, insisting that MDC alliance had stringent measures to stop Zanu PF rigging the elections. Of course, he was lying. Because we know Zanu PF blatantly rigged the 2018 elections. 5 years down the line, Chamisa lied again that he had plugged all the vote rigging loopholes to con people to participate in those elections. And 2 million of them voted for him in those elections. And at least an equal number in the diaspora who didn't have a vote supported Chamisa and company because they believed the idiotic lie that he had plugged the vote rigging loopholes. The day after the elections, it was clear the elections were rigged. And in this particular case, SADC and the AU confirmed the elections were rigged. So there's no more denying it. And whilst the Chamisa Chete Brigade accept the elections were rigged, what has become interesting is they don't want to accept that Chamisa is a liar. Much less to accept that he had conned them. I think we need to be honest with ourselves. Chamisa is a liar. And the 2 million who voted for him after believing the idiotic lies are per se idiots. That was an idiotic lie. You cannot deny that that was an idiotic lie. There was no way Chamisa had plugged any vote rigging loopholes. We know that. What is amazing here is that there's some people should even try to pretend that they can reconcile the two things. One, that he lied about plugging the vote rigging loopholes and that the elections were not rigged. If he didn't lie, then he plugged the vote rigging loopholes because he assured the people that was plugging them. And therefore, then Zanu PF would have never rigged the elections. But Zanu PF did rig the elections. And therefore, he was lying. I've played this video clip of the BBC taking Chamisa to account on this issue of lying.
Ende patakasangana na Trump akatibvunza naye akomana mari yamuri kuda kuti nyika ifambe imari.
Serious questions were raised about your behaviour in Washington, D.C. You did see some senior people on Capitol Hill, some Congress people, but you also claimed that you'd seen Donald Trump. You claimed you had a conversation with him in which you said he asked you how much you needed to move the country forward. You told him $15 billion, and he said to you that he would provide the money if you won the election. That was not true, was it?
Sangana na Trump akatibvunza naye akomana.
It was not true that you'd seen Donald Trump and that Donald Trump indicated to you that he would provide, if you won the election, $15 billion.
All those statements were said by other people, not what I said.
Trump akatibvunza naye akomana Maria muri kuda kuti nyika ifambe imari.
Well, no, because there is a video which shows you at a rally in January back home in Zimbabwe saying that Donald Trump had pretty much promised you $15 billion. To be clear, because some people in Zimbabwe are still confused, you're now telling me you did not meet Donald Trump.
We did not.
Well, I think one of the solutions to our failed political system is for us, the ordinary people, to learn to accept facts. For us to deny that Chamisa, for instance, is a liar is stupid. For us to keep participating in flawed elections when we know that the elections are flawed and that participating will only give Zanu PF legitimacy, that too is stupid. And the other thing that we must learn is that we must learn that leaders are accountable to the people. We should never compromise on that. I believe democracy only works when the electorate are educated, knowledgeable, and diligent. Because only then can they be trusted to carry out their duty of holding leaders to account. We must hold our leaders to account. Food for thought. Thank you very much. Have a good day.